All right, here we go. Let's see what we've got going on here today. Got a couple Diamine inks, Oxblood and Writers Blood. Ooh, how dramatic. I'm gonna do a couple of quick swatches here to see which I'm more in the mood for. And Writer's Blood. And that does look awfully similar, doesn't it? Writer's Blood. People went kind of nuts for this ink. It was almost like a meme. Well, I guess I'll go with Oxblood. So today I have a couple of pens. I have my Jinhao 10, and then this new edition, my Jinhao 20, which is apparently a revision on the 10. And I like the 10. I like the weight of it. This is all metal. It has more of a premium feel to it. It's slightly wider in the barrel. This feels like a plastic pen. Plastic, acrylic, whatever. I don't know. I don't care. Feels very different. It's super light, and the barrel doesn't have the diameter. Now, how much of a difference? Well, I don't know. But let's find out. So, at its approximate widest, the 10 is around 13 millimeters, while the 20 is around 12. A little bit of a difference. And it feels more substantial than it actually is. It's amazing what 1.5 millimeters or so will actually do. But let's take a look at the stuff on the inside. Let's gut these pens. My guess is it's the same. And yep, looks pretty identical to me. I'm not really seeing anything in the way of a difference, which is wonderful because that means I don't have to remember which pen I took each out of. Let's get a little paper towel ready and load these turkeys up. We'll get my 98-cent notebook out of the way so I don't tip the thing over. Clean that off a bit. Now, I did have a Jinhao 10 with a extra fine nib. And, you know, extra fine is fine. It's perfectly fine. But boring. It's like you're going to go to all this trouble of ordering a pen off of some discount site from the other side of the planet, and you're going to get a boring nib size? Live a little. Now, unfortunately, these pens don't sell with any wonderful variety of nib options. You get typically extra fine and fine. And I have seen medium. They do exist. But if you're going to buy medium, you may as well buy fine or extra fine, because either way, it's not going to be exciting. It's not going to be thrilling. And when you look at the nib itself, you can grind that. You could probably, if you can get the feed out of the way, you can probably grind this into a architect nib and then reassemble it. I might get frustrated enough where I'll try making it into a stub. Depending, of course, how much those inserts cost. Nope. Let's get this going. You ready to... Right there, sport? There we go. And... let's see what the 20 is like. Do some scribbles. Or a real professional operation. Now, there are people over the interwebs praising this pen. And I gotta tell you, there is a substantial, immediate difference just in holding and writing with the pen. The feel is completely different. And I gotta be honest, I bought this Jinhao 10 on a whim because it was shiny, and I'm a crow. And I bought this 10 because this 20 rather, because it was cheap. I paid maybe $6 for it. And I had no real interest in a plastic pen, but people on the internet were praising it. And I was thinking, BS. There's no way that this is better than the 10. Just because it's plastic, it's not going to have the heft. It's not going to have that same feeling of mass in your hand as you're writing. And that's when I guess was reminded that there are people out there who don't like that. They don't like holding onto a pen and feeling like they're holding something that has a little bit of a mass to it. I don't understand those people. When I have a pen in my hand, I want to feel that there's weight in my hand. But that's just me. And looking at this, you can see this is the Writer's Blood. It has more of a cranberry tone to it, while this has kind of more of a blood. This is the Oxblood. It has more of a, like an irony blood color to it. This looks almost like candy, like a color for a candy. This looks like special effects blood. Or more like special effects blood than Writer's Blood does. Yeah, there's literally no substantive difference in the smoothness. These nibs are surprisingly smooth for a cheap pen. It's the same nib unit. And which I'm a little bit not surprised by. I guess I was maybe expecting there to be some potential difference, but it makes sense that they would just recycle the same guts. They do it with other pens. they surprisingly did not do it with the Jinhao 159 and the X159. There's many differences between those two. But, ultimately, it doesn't matter. You're going to have people who bought the 20 because they wanted a metal pen. You're going to have people who bought, the 10. You can see how easy it is to transpose this nonsense, because they wanted a metal pen, and people who bought the 20 because they wanted a acrylic or plastic, whatever the hell this is. So, I don't know. It's important to have a pen that you like, and I think both of these will be in my pen rotation for the time being. Happily so. But I will say this does almost have a nostalgic feel to it. When I was a kid, there was this pencil case, this red pencil case with all of these colored pencils in it, in a desk that our Commodore 64 was set up in. And it was my father's, and he at one point was doing some sort of line drawing thing while he was in the Air Force. And it had something to do with something that he was doing, I guess, to fight the boredom. And that case wound up in this desk drawer, long forgotten, filled with colored pencils of all sorts and pens from the late 60s, early 70s. And some of those pens looked and felt a lot like this. They weren't vanishing point style. They were usually ballpoints, but the actual feel of this material was very similar to that, and the relative starkness of the colorway of this pen, the silver and the black, it just reminds me of the old clicker pens that were floating around the house when I was a kid. And I don't know, I probably still have that case somewhere. Have to go digging for it. I have no idea where it might be. I don't know, the good old days. And I don't know, I think I am liking this pen a bit more than I was expecting. I did expect to hate it, and then I inked it up just now for the first time and was a little surprised. And the more I'm holding this, the more I'm thinking, well, maybe I don't hate this at all. And, maybe it doesn't suck. And that's always a nice thing that, to realize about something you spent money on, I guess. But that's that. You have really nothing else to say about this aside from the nib is smooth. I am not telling you to buy it. I am just saying that in my opinion this doesn't suck, which obviously is not an endorsement, but it's also not an endorsement. Just keep in mind I am a stranger to the internet, and you should not take me as any kind of SME, as I have not established myself as one. So make your own decisions, spend your money wisely, stay off the streets, and have a good time.